you might be hearing a lot of information about moving cargo into a bonded warehouse, and there's been a lot of uptick in the interest in bonded warehouses and free trade zones, for that matter, lately. And the main reason for that is because if you move your goods that you import from another country into a bonded warehouse or a free trade zone, you can defer the duty payments. So what that means is you can import into the United States into a bonded warehouse, and you can keep them there without paying any duties until you withdraw them for consumption. And consumption just means you're taking out of the warehouse and selling it for to the consumer. So what are the benefits of that? Well, for one thing, it makes you manage your cash flow a little bit better, or allows you to manage your cash flow a little bit better. If you don't go to a bonded warehouse and you just take delivery of your goods, you have to pay the lump sum of all the duties owed on your goods within 10 days of it entering into the United States. If you move it to a bonded warehouse, you can keep it there and then take out your goods as needed and only pay duties whenever you withdraw just the portion that is removed from the warehouse. So that kind of helps. If you say you order inventory for the year and you sell that inventory to your customers month by month, so it's really like 10 to 12 months worth of inventory. Well, that way, every month that you remove that inventory and sell it to your customers, you only have to pay duties on that particular month, right, on the volume that you removed. So it kind of works out. It definitely helps, especially if you have goods that are on the higher side of whatever duties are owed. Now, the second benefit of moving to a bonded warehouse or free trade zone is that it's really relevant right now, because tariffs, as you know, are really high right now from China. Even with the suspended reciprocal duties, you're still looking at 45 to 55% in additional duties on top of whatever you originally had to pay. So what it allows you to do is you can move to a bonded warehouse, and let's just say 90 days goes by and you keep those goods in the warehouse. You don't have to pay any duties. And let's say, hopefully, between China and the US, say you imported something from China or anywhere, say after 90 days, the current administration renegotiates with China and around the world, and things actually go towards the positive side. And instead of, say, 10% or 125% or whatever reciprocal duties, say those are completely waived, right? Say they renegotiate and it goes down to zero, and say maybe those other duties that were put in place are also reduced or hopefully removed entirely, and you decide to remove your goods after those 90 days, after those duties are renegotiated, well, you would actually pay the updated duty rate. So when you imported, the duties were, say, at 55% additional, but then they renegotiate, you take them out 90 days later, and those have been reduced to zero. So now you would owe the current rate, which is just the whatever duties you would currently owe, and you would not owe anything that was renegotiated, right? So that's the other benefit. And that's the reason why some people are bringing their goods into the bonded warehouse. They don't want to delay their shipments, and they're hoping that they can keep them there for some time and hope that the tariff situation works out for the better, and they're subject to lower rates. Now, what are some of the cons of bringing your goods to a bonded warehouse? Well, right now, bonded warehousing is very hard to find. It's very high in demand for the reasons I mentioned above. And keeping your goods in a bonded warehouse, especially when everyone's looking for it, you're going to pay much higher rates. So per pallet, you could pay, double, triple, quadruple the regular pallet rate. And because space is so tight, a lot of these bonded warehouses are already full, so it's going to be hard to find one. If you do find one, and say you only have a few pallets, they're going to charge minimums. So they won't just charge you for 3 pallets, 2 pallets. They're going to charge you maybe like a 10 pallet, 100 pallet, 50 pallet minimum. So, as an example, I was shopping around for a customer and they only had like 1 or 2 pallets. So normally, if you keep it at a typical non-bonded warehouse, that could be $15, could be $25 a pallet. For a bonded warehouse, the rate was like, I think it was like $75 a pallet. So it was like 3 times the amount. However, they wouldn't allow you just to store 1 pallet and pay $75 a month. Their minimum was like $3,000 a month. So it was really, really high. So for that 1 pallet, you would be paying $3,000 a month. Now, maybe that works for you. It depends on the value of your goods and how much duties that you may have potentially owed. But that is a drawback. So it's not as easy as like, oh, just move to a bonded warehouse and we're good. Right now, as I mentioned, they're super high in demand. There's not a lot of space, and they're quite a bit more costly than your average warehouse. But I did want to cover that as part of a solution and kind of a bit of additional education series as part of the content that we provide here on the Maximum Freight channel. If you have more questions on free trade zone or bonded warehousing, please hit us up for a free consultation. And if you want to learn more about the tariffs and duties, make sure to click on the videos that we posted previous to this.